WTOL 11 News here on Plus. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday afternoon. Tonight we're starting off with breaking news. Tropical storm Melissa has now intensified into a hurricane. Meteorologist John Birchfield joins us with the latest. John, where is Melissa right now?
Melissa hasn't moved a whole lot, but those wind speeds have ramped up, Michael. So we are seeing hurricane force winds now, and it is likely that Melissa does intensify to major hurricane status. Right now, Category 1 with wind speeds up to about 90 miles an hour and some stronger gusts. And the movement is still relatively stagnant, only moving at 3 miles per hour. And that's going to exacerbate the flash flooding concern for portions of Jamaica and Cuba, especially the eastern side of Jamaica, and the DR and Cuba are expected to feel the worst of those impacts. Here's a look at the intensity track. We're going to see an intensification to major status Cat 3, possibly even Cat 4 and Cat 5 within the next 48 hours. Again, a very, very slow path to the west and then moving to the north and northeast eventually. Here's a look at those sea surface temperatures. It is remarkably warm, and the warm waters are contributing to that intensification with temperatures as high as about 90 degrees. Now, here at home, the big story is the cold weather. It's going to be another chilly morning. Freeze warnings are in effect south and east of us, but you'll notice nothing locally with the exception of Crawford County. So we are expecting frost, but no widespread freeze tonight. We're in the mid-50s over the course of your Saturday evening. That Sunday forecast is going to start off a bit brisk and chilly. Sunshine rules the day once again, and those afternoon highs mid to upper 50s expected. Nice and pleasant day, mainly sunny skies for those fall activities. A bit of an east breeze starts to pick up. I'm going to let you know when we might see our next raindrops coming up in your 10-day forecast.
All right, John, we'll see you then. Just into the newsroom, Toledo firefighters responded to a home on Belmont Avenue this afternoon after smoke was spotted by a bystander. Crews quickly put out the fire, which caused only minor damage. However, they found the back part of the house had collapsed due to disrepair. No one was inside at the time, and a dog tied up was safely freed. Investigators believe a space heater may have sparked the fire. A code red sign was placed on the home, meaning crews won't enter if another fire breaks out inside. A controversial project in Williams County is back in the headlines. Aqua Bounty Farms, which raises genetically modified salmon, has quietly received a permit from the Ohio EPA for a new water pipeline system, even though construction of the company's fish farm in Pioneer stopped over a year ago. Steve Awanek has been following this story and joins us now. Steve, you were told the public never knew about this until recently.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. Some residents in the village of Pioneer say they were blindsided by this latest move. They've been closely following Aqua Bounty's proposal for years and thought they'd be told when any new permits were approved. The 5-year permit allows Aqua Bounty to install 2-mile-long pipelines near Pioneer. One pipeline allows Aqua Bounty to pull groundwater from a local aquifer and another to discharge wastewater into the East Branch of the St. Joseph River. According to the permit, the EPA granted it on September 12th, effective October 1st. But those with Williams County Alliance and Environmental Protection Group say they didn't find out until recently after noticing there was no public announcement about it. We took residents' concerns straight to the EPA, who responded saying, quote, Ohio EPA, due to an internal oversight, did not issue a public notice regarding the issuance of Aqua Bounty's permit. It is our practice to release such notices, though not required by law, and we regret that this practice was not followed. We are continuing to look into this matter. Sherry Fleming with Williams County Alliance also weighed in tonight, telling me, quote, this lack of a required simple notification to the public by the Ohio EPA illustrates how disconnected the state government is to the communities that will live with the impacts from this project every day. We deserve better. The permit remains in effect through 2030, but no timeline has been announced for when or if Aqua Bounty plans to resume work on the site. Aqua Bounty paused construction in June of 2023 due to financial issues. In studio, Steve Iwanek, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks for that reporting, Steve. We continue to learn new information after Findlay police officers shot and killed a man on Wednesday. New video shows 4 officers responding after someone called 911, telling the operator to hurry for a possible shooting at a home on Cherry Lane. 2 officers then went up to the home where 90-year-old Robert Norton was said to have pointed a gun through a crack in the door at one of the officers. That's when officers fired 7 shots through the glass door, killing Norton. Police later discovered Norton's gun was in fact a BB gun that looked like a real one. Officers say Norton's longtime wife recently died and his home sat vacant for some time. The Findlay police chief says they believe this could be one of the first cases of suicide by cop in department history. Toledo police are asking for help to identify some suspects caught on camera stealing from a West Toledo ATM. This happened last week at the Sun Federal Credit Union on North Reynolds Road. Officers say at least 2 people were involved and that they drove a red Kia with a silver mirror on the passenger side. They're calling it a, quote, safe cracking theft, but have not shared how much money was taken. If you recognize the car or the people in the video, you're asked to call or text Crime Stoppers. Turning to our national headlines tonight, President Trump is off to Asia for 6 days, where he is expected to meet with a number of world leaders, including the Chinese President Xi Jinping. This comes as the government shutdown continues. CBS News' Willie James Inman is in Washington with the latest details.
President Trump departed on a 6-day trip to Asia late Friday. His visit will include stops in Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea, where the president is expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping during the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit.
We have a lot of things to discuss, including our farmers. We have a lot of things to discuss. The various trade deals that have been made in the past, and some broken, some not broken, but we've got many, many things. I think it's going to turn out to be a very good meeting.
The president says he is also open to meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at the DMZ.
They have a lot of nuclear weapons, but not a lot of telephone service, so I'm open to it. I had a great relationship with him, and he probably knows I'm coming.
The president's visit to Asia comes amidst the ongoing government shutdown, which reached day 25 on Saturday. On Saturday, while aboard Air Force One, President Trump told reporters that an anonymous donor had contributed $130 million to the Pentagon in an effort to keep military troops paid during the government shutdown.
He's a great gentleman. He's a great patriot. He's obviously a very substantial man, and he contributed $130 million toward the military in order to make up any difference. So he wanted to see the military get paid. So did I.
The president blames Democrats for the shutdown and reiterated Saturday he is willing to sit down with Democratic leaders to discuss health care reforms, but only after they vote to reopen the government. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
During his trip to Asia, President Trump is also expected to meet with the new Prime Minister of Japan during his travels. Sane Takaichi was elected Japan's first female Prime Minister earlier this month. In consumer news, yesterday's inflation report showed a 0.3% rise in September, lower than August, but still 3% higher year over year as we head into the holidays. These latest figures, delayed by the government shutdown, still arrived in time for the Federal Reserve to digest ahead of its upcoming meeting on rate cuts. The Social Security Administration also announced a 2.8% cost of living increase for retirees and other beneficiaries. Nearly 75 million Americans will see an average $50 monthly bump on their 2026 checks. And 5 weeks from Thanksgiving, turkey prices won't be what you're thankful for this year. Wholesale prices are up about 40% from last year. One reason, bird flu has led to fewer turkeys. Last year, a full Thanksgiving meal for 10 people cost around $58. That's up nearly 20% from 2020. But some good news, key ingredients for the sides, including potatoes, butter, and canned corn, have held steady in price. Back home, a group of volunteers got to work this morning to plant 26 trees in Point Place. It was the 4th tree planting of the fall in Point Place, organized by Keep Toledo / Lucas County Beautiful. The trees were provided from a Keep America Beautiful grant specifically for replacing trees that have come down from natural disasters. The organization picked Point Place to replenish the trees taken by tornadoes that came through about 2 years ago.
It's an exciting grant because a lot of grants are focused on public property, parks and right-of-ways and things like that. But when we want to look at increasing the tree canopy in Toledo, there's only so many parks that we have to do restoration projects. We really need people's front yards and backyards to get those trees and to grow that canopy.
The organization says they've planted 118 trees this fall after today. They say they hope to plant more trees across Lucas County next year. Also in Point Place today, Friendship Park welcomed some spooky visitors. The second annual Halloween Spooktacular brought fun for the whole family, including a puppet parade, pet parade, glass-blowing demonstrations from the Toledo Museum of Art, and food trucks. The festival was held in partnership with the Point Place Area Art Committee to bring the community together for an art-filled afternoon.
Bringing people out into the community to bond together, to see, having those shared experiences really makes a big difference, and it warms my heart. And to know that other artists are out here contributing, really, to just bringing the public together.
Organizers with the art committee say you can get involved with next year's puppet making with preparations starting in August. You can also stay up to date on the art committee by visiting their Facebook page. A group of golfers hit the driving range at First Tee today for an open house with the Ability Center. The Ability Center says the goal is to have a long-term adaptive golf team, and today they were gauging interest. Guests were given some tips on the driving range and even got to play a few holes.
There's just generally interest, I think, in our community for adaptive golf. Golf's a really, really big sport. It's really, really popular, and we want to make sure it's accessible to everybody. We're happy to support our local community and help them find ways to participate in recreation that otherwise they may not be able to.
Organizers tell us you can check the Ability Center's website for more information on joining the team this coming spring. Still ahead, there's been a lot of change when it comes to electric vehicles. Coming soon in Michigan, it's going to be more expensive to own one. We'll tell you how tonight at WTOL 11 at 11. Want to see more breakdowns of viral trends and 60-second stories? Check out our WTOL 11 social media pages on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Let's get things over to John with a full look at our forecast.
Well, it's going to be another frosty and chilly feeling night. There is not going to be a widespread freeze. However, it's still going to be brisk feeling with those temperatures dipping down to the mid-30s. So cover up any sensitive outdoor plants that could be affected by those low temperatures. No active frost or freeze alerts. However, there are freeze warnings near Bucyrus and Mansfield and stretching into north central and northeastern Ohio. Primarily some of those valley and more hilly areas in northeast Ohio and stretching into Pennsylvania, where much of the Pittsburgh metro could see frosty and freezing conditions. Temperature-wise, over the course of your Saturday evening, it's been in the low to mid-50s. Seasonable weather. Hope you enjoyed that sunshine today. There is going to be plenty more of it tomorrow, but it is going to be a cold, chilly start to the day. A little more cloud cover starting to work on through. Satellite does show you those clouds working in from the west. There's actually a few isolated sprinkles in northern Indiana, but nothing locally, and I'm not expecting any rain chances for the rest of the weekend. So the hour-by-hour forecast shows you those lows dropping back into the mid-30s. In all honesty, I think it's going to get coldest south of Toledo, south and east, near Upper Sandusky, Bucyrus, and Tiffin, where some of those areas could get close to the freezing mark. Winds are going to be light, but due to that east wind direction, it is actually expected to stay a little milder near the Lake Erie shores due to the relatively warm waters of Lake Erie. Into the afternoon, highs make it up to the mid to upper 50s, and a few spots south of Toledo, like Findlay, Ottawa, could make it up to the 60-degree mark, so it is going to be a nice day. Clear skies tonight, a chilly feel with the exception of the lakeshore. There is going to be frost once again, partly to mostly sunny, but it's going to be turning breezy into the start of the week, and winds coming in off the lake with east winds at about 10 to 20 miles an hour Monday, and it's going to be gusty for a good chunk of the work week. A milder feel Sunday, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures around 57, which is a little cooler than average for the final weekend of October. So weather impacts that we're expecting. Morning frost is going to be possible Sunday, especially inland from Lake Erie. Heading into this work week, the breeze returns. East winds for a good portion of the week, and a few spotty showers will be possible, especially in the middle of the week. And looking ahead towards Halloween, likely to be a dry evening for trick-or-treat plans, which is really good news, although it is going to be cool as well, so you may need to incorporate the long sleeve into those Halloween costumes. Overall, as we turn over the calendars from October into November, the weather forecast is trending on the chillier side. We're expected to stay slightly below average in the temperature department through that first week of November with below normal temperatures. So what about rainfall? It's going to be a dry end to the weekend. There is going to be a slight chance for showers Wednesday and then again Thursday. That is probably going to be our best bet to see some rainfall is on Thursday as that system brings that gusty east